It is odd though, being apart and not being able to sing together. And we've been trying to have well, remote chats, Zoom chats, and Zoom rehearsals, and it really is difficult. Has anyone else got any comments they'd like to make about that?
You know, I think in some way it's the singing that I miss and the people, but also it's such a big part of my week. I just find, you know, even down to when I'm going to have a big lunch because I'm out in the evening for rehearsal, it's just changed completely the way I run my life, not doing this.
Yeah, same. I've been singing in choir since I was kind of 8 years old, and it's such a kind of normal part of my life. Like going to choir is as normal as, you know, going to school or going to work. So for that to kind of like stop, it's been really strange. And then last night we had this kind of virtual workshop with Neville, which was wonderful. It was wonderful to see Neville and hear him, and wonderful to see, you know, all of you guys. It just wasn't quite the same singing in your bedroom, like listening to your own voice. You know, part of being in a choir is having all the other voices. So yeah, it's been hard.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think if and when we talk about the commitment we do and the enjoyment we have for the choir, it is quite a big part of the week. It's quite a notable commitment. So when that's not there, you really notice it. And obviously singing requires, part of it is, someone once described it as being in sync with people around you, and the harmony that you can do requires people to be with each other. So it's definitely been a notable change that you can't really ignore as a singer.
I feel that being in choirs is sort of a way of life. I mean, I've been in choirs since I was 8, and so it's a thing that I do, and it's what we do as singers, isn't it? And at the moment, okay, I did take a step back sort of when we had kids and things, but not having even the LPO concerts to go to at the moment when we record this at the time of the pandemic. It's very strange having that disruption to the rhythm of your life, isn't it? And how does the absence of choir, how has that affected you? And has the choir been doing stuff while we've been in lockdown? Have you got, well, I know it has. Have you got involved in any of the projects that have been happening?
No, I actually. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, Rachel, you go. Ladies first, of course. You go.
Oh, thank you. I was going to say really quickly. I think just my neighbours probably appreciate me less because I'm singing at home a lot more. Just on my own, just, you know, show tunes, anything, listen along to the radio at the top of my voice, few opera arias, just hilarious. I think, you know, I'm missing that outlet, that creative outlet, to just kind of just sing. Yeah, that's it. Go on in.
No, I was just going to say it's when we see our calendar basically, because we've all got this calendar feed into all of our phones, it's just saying LPC cancelled rehearsal, LPO cancelled performance. And it's just, it's when you see that, you actually do realise what we've lost. You know, we were supposed to be rehearsing for the prom coming up, which was meant to be a recreation of Beethoven's Academy concert as part of his 250. You know, and all we were going to be singing was the choral fantasy, which, you know, Don't Strike Me Down, Beethoven wasn't your best piece, but it would still have been wonderful to have been part of something so huge. And, you know, now obviously the diaries have been wiped out through 2020. We were supposed to be starting a new work that was going to be a world premiere, and of course that's just gone out of the window. And it's that whole, we saw all of this in our diaries because, you know, as you well know, Nick, the diaries go in 2 if not 3 years in advance, and it's the excitement suddenly it's all just been taken away. And, you know, it's I don't think it's not about getting depressed about it, because that's not, you know, I don't think that'll get us through this. It's just that loss of what we could have been doing is just a little bit hard to stomach at the moment, I think.
Surprising, isn't it, to having had that conveyor belt that almost goes on, and you imagine that conveyor belt just continuing forever into the future. You know, all of us who work around people who are artistic planning and understand that business of just how far in advance all of this is set down. It was such a surprise just to watch it all grind to a halt, wasn't it? Sorry, Lily, I think you were going to say something, or was it Rachel?
Yeah, it's just, I think for some it can be quite, it's quite sad not being able to do the things that you usually do, and it's it just makes you think, oh, what, you know, well, what's fun anymore, because you're not putting on concert. We're in the industry, we're not putting on concerts, we're not doing that much, and then we don't have any choir to sort of just chill out and sing, and it's such a shame. But it is nice that we've been keeping contact a bit during the lockdown, and we've been doing a few social things on Zoom. The whole choir, they did a wine tasting, which was cool, and it was on Zoom, which was quite fun, and you get to see into everyone's living rooms, which is nice. But it is a shame that there's not something to go to every now and again, because it's just a shame. But
choir has, even in lockdown, it's still managed to contribute, I think, you know, even as a new member, to a sense of well-being, even though we haven't been singing every week, which is what you get from that, but workshops and chance to participate in video productions and all of that, you know, there's that sense of community, isn't there?
Yeah, no, we've definitely been learning some new skills with the recording of parts, you know, listening to click tracks and everything. That's something that we're not really used to doing. We're used to live performance here and now, and yeah, that's been a new experience. It's been fun.
The one thing this has flagged up is how vital something like choir is for everybody's sanity, and I think that all of this has made everybody realize how important it is to keep the arts going and how relevant it is.
I mean, I've had a fairly busy few months. So I work for a hospital. I'm not on the front line, but it's been busy. So I've been in and out of the office, and while that part of my life has kind of carried on almost as normal, but with a lot more work pressure. I mean, I work in the information team, so we've got data coming out of our eyeballs at the moment. But I've really missed the sort of the downtime that choir gives me. Like, I don't live in London, so I have a bit of a commute to get in for choir. So even though nights where I have choir, it's quite busy, have to get the train in, and I don't get home until quite late. But it's not having that kind of periods in the week where I can just go and sing and relax, and it has been quite a big shift, because I mean, I've been singing pretty much constantly since I was like 16, so it's been quite a strange thing to not have choir, really.
Yeah, it's very strange in a way. For me, it's strange because I think a lot of us hang our lives on it. You know, twice a week rehearsals, regular concerts, this fantastic buzz of working with amazing musicians and performing, and it's a real joy. And what I found very strange, or I don't know, perturbing, or I'm not quite sure what the word is that in such a short time it's all disappeared, and there's this sort of black hole, but actually it's not that long, and it will come back. But I think the unknown is like when and how. And we miss this wonderful magic we create together, this amazing energy, this huge privilege of being amateurs but singing the best music in the world. Danny, how do you feel about that?
I think it's been similar. I live alone. I bought a house recently, having moved out of a house that I shared with someone that I met in the choir, which, you know, so we've spoken before, we find friends, some of those friends end up living together or getting married, or you know, being proper lifelong pals. So I sort of moved thinking it's okay because I'm never at home anyway, so I can buy this house and move out and live on my own, because I never spend any time at home because I'm always at choir. And then suddenly, you know, these choir disappeared. Yeah, extremely difficult, and just adjusting to life without, quite frankly, the chaos that sometimes is juggling a full-time job and sometimes quite a demanding schedule voluntarily, because that's what you sign up for. I find it quite an adjustment. I've really struggled with not having regular singing. But I think, you know, the community stays strong. The community sort of holds, and we've all sort of seen each other through it. It's a matter of, you know, when, not if, we'll all sing together again, I'm sure as soon as regulations allow, we'll find a creative way of doing something that makes us feel like we're in a choir again. Not to be a negative Nelly, but you know, the sort of singing alone in your room, and then it being put together post-production to sound like a choir is beautiful. And actually I was really moved when we did that recently, but nothing compares to actually being in a room and sharing that experience. So I am just still doing my scales, not as often as I should. I'm a bit worried that I'm going to fail my re-audition. But you know, just looking forward to actually, can you imagine when we actually get back and do a proper concert as a choir? That is going to be, that if we had this conversation in like a year's time, you know, what's the experience that you remember?
Yeah.
That first performance after not being able to sing together is going to be super special, I think. So that's what I'm sort of looking for. I'm holding on to that, the fact that it's going to be the concert to end all concerts. It doesn't even matter if it's not a massive piece or it's not a huge monumental thing. It will just be the experience that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Well, I feel a bit as if I've had a limb amputated. I'm still working because gardening is deemed essential. So I've lost a couple of clients for a variety of reasons. Some because I can't get into the gardens without going through the house. Some because a family member has gone on furlough and is helping out instead. The rest of my time I've been volunteering for the local support group and doing food bank deliveries and shopping, which has been really nice. But yes, I miss the people. I miss my friends. I miss my lovely choir daughters, and it's so good to see two of them on screen today. And although in a way life is easier because, like Vicky, I live outside London, I have to come in, which means finishing work at 4 on the dot, getting into the shower and getting out again to catch a train at 5 or 5:15. So that's always a mad dash, and I don't have to deal with that at the moment. But yes, I mean, the friendships, the camaraderie, even the people that you don't know so well, but you can always have a nice chat with them if you happen to end up sitting next to them, and so on. Of course, my closest friends, like, yes, I am keeping in touch and we phone regularly and so on, but it's the ones, the sort of next level down, who you love and care about, but just not having the chance to see them. And I know I'm going to go away from this session and cry again, because that's happened to me. It's happened to me every time.
Call me on chat.
Yeah, and Danny, you actually made me cry when you told me about your family coming to the Manchester tea. So,
yeah,
but
I haven't seen my family since Christmas. My real family.
Wow.
And you know, choir fills a massive hole when it comes to sort of support networks and things. I'm really missing that, but you know, we've filled that gap a lot. There's been regular contact. There's been activities that we can join. You know, you have your sort of choir clusters as well, the people that you stay in contact with anyway.
Well, I'm a professional singer, so this whole COVID situation meant for me that I am out of a job, and that I basically don't know what to do with myself.
Sorry.
And I mean, you don't become a singer because you want a regular paycheck, or you want security. You become a singer because you need to be on stage. You need to bring the people joy, and you like performing. And losing that just kind of is very, very weird. I mean, I've been doing virtual things, but it's not the same.
Well, because I live in a block of flats, so practicing, I am a little tentative about practicing because I have neighbours, but I've just decided that I can't not sing. I miss it, so I've started singing most days. I just go for it, close all the windows and slightly overheat, but then and just sing. Good. Yeah, because I need to. I miss it. There are times when it's quite, sometimes it's nice not to have the regularity of rehearsals, but even then I'll still do my own practice. But yeah, I've got some really good friends in the choir. We've been meeting up anyway, but yeah, I miss miss learning. It's such a learning opportunity, and it's really exciting to start a new piece of music. It's exciting to go through that journey of learning a piece of music, looking forward to something, working towards something. Yeah, I miss having that in my life a lot. But you know, this situation isn't forever. Things will change. We will get back there. It's kind of it's a struggle, but you know, the LPC community is really, it's been fun to do things on Zoom, to meet up, to have quizzes and the odd rehearsal, and I think you know,
wine tasting.
Indeed. So we're staying together, so we just need to stick it out until we can sing again, and it will be such a wonderful moment when we get back together and really start singing together again. So I'm excited for that, and this is what it is, and we've just got to keep going, and there's no reason why I can't get up at 6 and go and stand in the middle of Victoria Park and sing very loudly for an hour by myself if that's what I need to do. I mean, my voice is with me, I can use it at all times. It's just finding a moment and finding a place where I feel less self-conscious.